I, 33 male, share one child, a young female, with my wife, 36. She has another daughter, a young teen that lives with us full-time. We also have custody of our niece, teen. The teens are each other's best friends. They share a large bedroom, which was done at their request. So the dynamic here is mostly mom and youngest against the teens, with me being the referee between everyone. My wife has taught the youngest she can blame others for her actions to avoid consequences. She just says the word and one of the teens will get punished without question. There's no doubt she is my wife's favourite. I love her, but she's becoming nothing more than an entitled brat. As just a mere example, my wife and I had an appointment we both needed to attend. When we came back, it was apparent the pool had been used. They're not allowed to swim while we aren't home. As the youngest divulged, "Mummy, I was in my room colouring, I never went swimming," the teen said that wasn't true, she had also gone swimming. Only the teens were punished. My wife refused to give the youngest any consequence. I later found her wet swimming suit hidden in the garage. My wife and I argued. I felt strongly she needed not only to be punished for swimming but also for lying. After a relentless disagreement, I was silenced as she gave the youngest a very minimal consequence. The lying, blaming and favoritism ultimately caused the teens to act out understandably. Most of their consequences are done by giving more chores, specifically the youngest chores. Or recently, they were removed from music lessons as a consequence. I believe they're so frustrated they don't even care when they verbally attack their mother after her unfair treatment towards them. After all, they already get blamed and punished for things they don't even do. From my perspective, lashing out gives them a release. We've had countless tiring arguments. She doesn't see her faults, or we'd agree to do this and that, but it was never done. So I decided to write her a performance review as a stay-at-home mom. Her areas in need of improvement, well, it was a lot. But I touched on how she needs to listen better and stop being biased. Be fair in all her decisions, and stop making rash decisions without considering all three kids. I recommended she give each child the same amount of one-on-one alone time to speak or just be with one another. So it wouldn't be an entire slap to her face, I gave her accolades on her strong points for other areas besides parenting. I guess I felt this would work best because I could organise my thoughts on paper without her interjecting. However, it quickly backfired in my face. She was quiet the first hour after I handed it to her. Then she completely exploded on me and said if we do this type of crap, she'll get a private bank account and take half my paycheck every week. She further said the review was abusive and a manipulative, misogynistic move. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Are you her employer? Because employers give performance reviews. Partners do not give performance reviews. Therefore, your family, including yourself, needs therapy. A lot of therapy. A lot of therapy. Then that's called everyone's the idiot here. The fact that you vote OP to be the only idiot here is confounding. He's so much less of an idiot than the wife than they're not even on the same scale. OP, she should be listening better, but seriously, a performance review? What kind of reaction did you expect? You're treating her like a temp worker, not your partner. That was unbelievably condescending. You seem to have you versus me mentality instead of us versus the problem. You'll need to find a way to communicate better in a non-adversarial way. It's time to get into couples counselling and talk about this like adults. You're all out of your ever-loving minds. Honestly, I'm saying you are the idiot despite the wife's crappy behaviour. If he's genuinely concerned about parenting issues or his wife is being emotionally abusive, why on earth would you write a performance evaluation? He's not her boss. What's he going to do? Fire her? What happens if she starts working and isn't a stay-at-home mom? Does her crappy parenting not matter if she isn't a stay-at-home mom? It's crappy, misogynistic and entirely about her not working and not at all about her being a bad parent. And he's describing a wide range of parenting issues. I disagree. I was ready to call OP an idiot, but I can't. I think you acted in desperation because you see your wife favouring the youngest at the expense of the teens. You have the additional fear of her becoming a manipulative brat due to your wife's actions. You've got problems bigger than an angry wife. You've got 3 kids who all need a stable home and to be treated fairly and equally, and the teens need to be heard. Somehow you've got to convince your wife that family therapy is in order. Good luck. I'm an art teacher at a school in a small town. Recently, I welcomed a new student to the class. He'd previously been homeschooled but had begged his parents to let him go to a normal school with his friends. He's a great kid, he's already fit right in with the class and he does really great work. My only issue with him has been that he doesn't ask to leave the classroom if he needs a bathroom, he just leaves. I'm not the strict, everything needs to be my way kind of teacher, but the administration has a stringent policy for students outside of classrooms during class periods. I asked his parents to come in so we could discuss it, to try to get them to help me figure out a way to get him to follow this rule. They arrived and seemed like fine enough people, but then saw my photo on my desk of myself, 28 male, and my husband, 31. They asked who it was, and I was honest. It had never been an issue before. They later called the school to report me for inappropriate behaviour in the classroom. Mind you, I do not talk about my husband in class. I'm there to teach, not preach. LOL. The administration is definitely with me on this, but honestly, they've started sending some really rude emails to my school-provided account, and I would like to honour their wishes that their child was not exposed to my disgusting lifestyle. I may be the idiot here because, as good of a student as he is, I just no longer feel comfortable with him in my class. He loves art class, and there are no other art teachers at the school, so he'd be removed from the course entirely, which I know isn't fair to him. But it's also not fair to me to be called names and accused of working in a school to corrupt innocent minds with my filth. He's a good kid and loves art class. It's his favourite, and he has real talent, especially for a younger child, and it's not his fault. Edit, they have requested I be fired and replaced. Not the idiot, I'd also want to distance myself from such parents, but unfortunately the only person who will really be affected by their madness is their child. And I don't see how having a picture of yourself with your husband is so wrong unless you're naked on a bed with him. They're not going to fire OP, so he should just have fun with this. Next class project, they can all paint rainbows. Plus, it will bother the parents more to have their child continue to be exposed to OP's disgusting lifestyle than to have the kid removed. And OP can set an excellent example for him, showing him that gay people aren't any different than straight people. This kid needs some good role models. This kid was homeschooled. He begged his parents to let him go to normal school. The parents probably want the kid kicked out of the art class and will likely move on to getting him kicked out of other classes for other reasons. Then he has to go back to being homeschooled because he can't attend enough normal school classes to get the necessary credits to graduate. So, ever wonder why he was homeschooled in the first place? A lot of parents homeschool their kids to keep them from being exposed to anything they disapprove of. OP, there's a real danger that the parents' behaviour could affect your career and livelihood. Of course, you don't want to punish a child, but if given a choice between your career and a child being in your class, there's nothing wrong with protecting yourself. I wouldn't want to be in an environment where I'm being degraded like that either, and if you choose to have the kid removed, I can't blame you. Update. My husband and I have talked it over and decided to move after the school year, going to go somewhere a bit bluer. Thanks everyone. My father has many faults. I'm well aware of these and tend to keep our interactions private. I still love him and I've developed a system to keep him from messing me over. When my fiancée asked me to marry him, I said yes, and then I went and privately told my dad about it. We had a nice dinner with my fiancée and that was that. My future mother-in-law wanted to have an engagement party. I was fine with it, I just requested that she not invite my father. I explained that we had a strained relationship and preferred to keep him at a distance. She agreed. I guess she thought she knew better than me. She wanted to fix our relationship, and the first step was inviting him to her home for a party with alcohol. When I met my dad for dinner, I specifically chose a restaurant that didn't have a liquor license, and we went right after work. His car has a breathalyzer built in to make it start. I know what would happen otherwise. When I saw my dad there, my stomach flipped. I asked her what was going on, and she said that a good daughter would want her dad there on this important day. I asked her to please make him leave. She said I was being rude. I went over to my dad and asked him to leave. He promised to behave. He was so happy to be invited. I told my fiancé that I might need to leave in a hurry and he had to come with me when I left. He knows the whole story. He agreed. My father was fine at the beginning, then wine came around. I glared at him and shook my head no. He took some, then more, then more. He started getting happy. That doesn't last. After dinner there were drinks. As soon as I heard him raise his voice, I asked my fiancée to leave. I faked a stomach problem and we left. The least embarrassing thing he did was he peed on mother-in-law's lawn. My mother-in-law is furious. She said we should have told her that my father had a drinking problem. I said it wouldn't have been a problem if she hadn't lied to my face about not inviting him. My father is humiliated that he did this. I am just numb. I'm just angry that she lied, and I need someone to tell me I'm not the idiot for not wanting to tell people my father is like this. Am I the idiot for letting my father cause a huge scene at my engagement party and embarrassing my future mother-in-law? Not the idiot. The why of your estrangement from your father and reluctance to have him at your engagement party is none of mother-in-law's business. She thought she was being so clever. In short, she messed around and found out. So now your engagement party enters the realm of family legend, and not in a good way. I can't stand people who won't respect boundaries around family. You didn't want him there and didn't need to tell her why in detail. You didn't embarrass her. She did it to herself by deciding she knew better than you. When someone says, "Do not invite this person," you don't go behind their backs. She had no right to question why you wouldn't want him there, and if she did want to know why, she could have asked you or her child if she didn't feel comfortable asking you. It's 100% her fault for inviting someone you gave clear instructions not to. I'm sorry this happened, but I hope you have a wonderful wedding. Oh man, mother-in-law will stomp all over OP's boundaries. Guaranteed. OP, I'll point out that your headline says, "Letting my father cause a huge scene." That's putting his behavior on you. You didn't let him do anything. These are the consequences of his actions. Don't take that burden on yourself. I have tattoos. My fiancée Valeria has tattoos. I don't control her or tell her what to do with her body. We just got back from 3 weeks in the Philippines. Valeria isn't talking to me. She decided that she really wanted a traditional Filipino tattoo. Her grandmother is from the Philippines, and it was something she wanted to get here to honor her, so none of this was an issue. What was an issue was that she decided to get it on our 4th day there. If you don't know anything about tattoos, just think of fresh tattoos as an open wound. So for the rest of our time there, she didn't go in the water. She could shower, but that was about it. So nothing in the ocean except for sailing. She couldn't snorkel, scuba, parasail or jet ski. Nothing. And she got mad at me if I went. Before she even got it, I said she should wait and have it done on our way home. Nope, not good enough. It had to be from this one artist who had time for her that day. I told her it was a dumb decision. I tried pulling up pictures of infected tattoos to show her that it was a bad idea. She ignored me. After she got the tattoo, the artist's grandson told her the rules, which included don't go in the damn ocean, which I had already told her. She said that she'd always wanted it and that we might not have an opportunity to see that artist again. I would have made an effort to get her back there before we left. Now she's angry that she spent all this money and time on her vacation and basically had to sit by the pool and drink for most of it, like her mom and dad would do. I don't see how her decision is my fault, but she's still upset with me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, that was a dumb decision. Can't fault you there, OP. But she sounds off her rockers. That is some toxic crap, blaming you for her decision. Beware, my dude. Is that what you want the rest of your life to be like? So in other words, a woman who does something foolish and then punishes you for it, that's what you want in a wife? For real, I'm heavily tattooed and it's always a thing that you have to schedule around your life. I avoid getting tattooed in the summer because I like to be outdoors in the warmer weather, swimming, hiking, etc. And I don't want to worry about a literal open wound getting infected. I thought this was common sense, and yet... You seem to be fairly supportive of her decisions and didn't forbid her from getting the tattoo on the 4th day, just warned her that it might screw with what she'll be able to do on this trip. I think she may be lashing out because she realised after the fact that you were right, but she can't admit that because she feels she needs to defend her decision. I would bet that this is not the first example of extreme selfishness in this relationship. I, 45 female, have a 20-year-old son, Ron. He's deaf. He is high-functioning, almost like a regular adult without a disability, can speak and lip read, is independent for most parts and just relies on me for some stuff. Yesterday evening I was watching Love on the Spectrum with my son, and I told my son that even a special needs person could find love, and even though he was one of them, due to his deafness, he could find love. He got upset with me and told me that deafness is not special needs. I said that being deaf is special needs because he relies on me for many things, such as making phone calls for doctor appointments, hearing fire alarms, etc. He said that special needs referred to those that are low functioning and cannot be completely independent, such as autism, Down syndrome, etc., and Ron said he was much more independent than them. I told him that he has to stop rejecting the fact that he's disabled and he is special needs, and there was nothing wrong with that. He got pretty upset with me and told me that I was not a supportive person because he said that by saying he has special needs, I don't believe that he can ever be independent. And he just left the room. So, am I the idiot for saying that deaf is special needs and my son is special needs? Edit, my son believes love is not meant for him due to his disability. He thinks no one would love him for how he is, which is why I told him that anyone could find love. He's told me consistently that he's forever alone due to his disability. Why in the world did you think it was a good idea to drop a, "You see, even disabled people, like you, can find love" on him? And almost like a regular adult. What the heck, OP? You are the idiot just for this comment. And yes, deaf people do live independently. Your ableism is showing. This made me want to barf. Years and years ago, one of my great aunts went to bed, and in the morning when she woke up, she was deaf. She was exactly the same person, just her ears didn't work anymore. But she still lived alone, did her grocery shopping, visited relatives, and made my sister and me Barbie clothes. You know, like a regular adult without a disability. It's mind-boggling to me that you can have a 20-year-old who's been deaf since birth and not know that many deaf people are offended by being called disabled, etc. Autism and Down syndrome are also in no way comparable to deafness or each other. You can't compare these conditions. They affect people in totally different ways. At 20 years old, he can decide if he has a difficulty and is telling you he doesn't. You need to educate yourself.